Hey there, Pisces. How are you doing? This is your ascendant forecast for the week ahead, starting on Monday the 22nd, taking you right the way through to Sunday the 28th of December 2025. Now, I don't know about you, but it's been a pretty busy December, right? And, as these weeks have gone by, we've seen so many different squares and trines, like exact ones. It's been quite tiring. There's a lot to process. In this week forwards, there are two aspects that I think are most important, and that is Venus in a square to Neptune, and also the exact trine of Mercury to Chiron right at the end of the week. And we've also got Venus going into the sign of Capricorn. So it's not as busy as the other weeks, but there's still stuff to learn. I do think this is a week of shifting. I think we are shifting emotionally in quite a bold and brave way. And so what I want to do is guide you through, pace you through this week ahead in a way that hopefully will be helpful and maybe a bit inspiring as well, that inspire you to go through this shift feeling comfortable. So anyway, if you're new to this channel, my name's Louisa. Welcome to Feel Good Astrology. I'm going to bring up my slides now and also just say a quick thank you to everybody that has supported my channel, whether it's historically or currently. I thank you so much. So here are the charts. This is the first one, and you can see the moon is in the sign of Capricorn as we start this week ahead. And then by the end of it, the moon has gone down into the sign of Aries. So from here to here, you'll also see that Venus ends up in Capricorn. You'll see all these shift backwards when I go to the first chart. There you go. Backwards, forwards, forwards, backwards. So if when you look at your chart, you see that you've got the sign of Pisces and also the symbol for Aries in this first section, this is known as the first house, then you might also find the Aries forecast helpful as well. Anyway, as we enter into this week ahead, like I said, the moon is in the sign of Capricorn, but it does go into Aquarius. And before it does that, it's going to make a lovely exact trine to Uranus. And then soon after, it's going to make a conjunction with Pluto. These are really strong energetic signals. Uranus is all about our vibration, our frequency. It also shows us where we have these spontaneous downloads or insight that kind of flashes in, just clicks into place just like that. And when the moon comes into this lovely trine, I think wherever your resonant frequency is what's going to come in. So I do think it's important to choose the right frequency ahead of time, so if you're starting your day feeling rushed, upset, like you're never going to get everything done for this week ahead, or whatever it is that's upsetting you, that's the kind of energy that you'll be bringing in more quickly as Monday persists. And then, when the moon connects with Pluto, it really shows the strong emotions that we're feeling, our need for control. And if we're not feeling in control, just how far we'll go to manipulate to get things to work for us. And so I really think choose where you want to be so that as the moon and Pluto come together later on Monday, that you feel empowered rather than that you're angry or resentful or wanting to kind of overpower people, which can really happen with the moon and Pluto together. So that's Monday. And as we're coming into Tuesday, like the moon and Mercury in a lovely sextile, I do think there's going to be some real sort of internal ideas coming up, some internal insight that can really help you stand stronger. But again, that's only going to happen if you're really listening to what's going on unconsciously, what your inner mind is speaking to you. So I think it's important that we pick our emotions wisely. Now, of course, Monday and Tuesday, they're already carrying this energy of Venus coming into this exact square with Neptune on the 24th, Christmas Eve. And so these exact squares are strong. And Venus and Neptune are both love energies. There is this very strong You know, Venus is terrestrial love. Neptune is celestial, heavenly love. And in this square, I think we get really real to the pain of the perfection of love and the perfection of connections with people. And so I really feel that on Wednesday, it's such a strong message that where we've got these ideals, these highly ideological, romantic ideas about people and what they should be doing for us and what love looks like and the lengths we would go to keep somebody else happy, where we might go into self-sacrifice or where we expect other people to do that for us. I think we get really real to the cost of it, and how that affects us as a person, you know, because here we've got Venus in the 10th house, you know, to do with you as a fully functioning adult and to do with your career as well. And so you may well have career ideals or ideals of yourself, like I should be here, when in fact this is what's really coming on with me. So maybe it's more about self-love and self-acceptance. You know, you like Venus in the 10th house, I think is quite helpful because it's showing us how we can be loved by other people and appreciated by other people, people seeing us. And, you know, there's a kind of glamour with Venus in the 10th house, you know, where people really see you. But again, they're not really seeing the soul you necessarily. They're seeing the you that they are attracted to you, which might be the part of you that they want to engage with. And you might feel used by that. You know, you might feel that people only want you for a particular job or a particular role, and you might feel very disconnected. So there is a sort of disconnect from being a real person to like this image, this idol. And I think that can be quite uncomfortable. But, you know, this moment in time is here to really show you something really strong. It's one of the last lessons of this year. And, you know, it's going to carry on for the rest of the week, but it's just really acute on the 24th. And then thankfully, Venus goes into the sign of Capricorn. And then I think we can take the pressure off. So you're taking the pressure off yourself, but you're also being very responsible and discerning with what you're expecting from other people. So I see that you're more likely to take personal responsibility for your friendships and your networks and what's going on. You might take practical action rather than kind of dreaming and expecting things to all fall into place. It's time to really take good care of it. So I think that's really sort of shaping how Christmas Day might go. And of course, on Christmas Day, we've got the moon coming into Pisces, into your own sign. Now, this is a time when we often feel really quite tearful and we wear our heart on our sleeves, you know, when the moon's in the first house. And so this is likely to be one of those Christmases that feels a lot more poignant for whatever reason it is, but it feels a lot more emotional than usual. Now the, you know, moon in Pisces is also very genuine and empathic, psychic, intuitive, but it can be a little bit grisly. It can be a little bit tearful, and it can feel sorry for itself a little bit, you know, the moon in Pisces. And so it's really important that you keep the right vibration around you during this time. I mean, there's some really great things about this day. In fact, you know, like the moon is going to be in a lovely sextile to Venus, you know, so with the right people around us, we can feel really honored and cherished. The moon is going to be in a sextile with the sun, again, in the 11th house. So you can feel really engaged with and playful with the people around you. The moon is going to be in a sextile with Mars, which can be sexy, but it can also be where you take action with people. So it could be really friendly if it's, you know, if you're not around the people that you love. I think there can be a lovely companionship that can arise on Christmas Day. And then finally, the moon is going to make a conjunction to the North Node at the end of the day. And I think it helps you to recognize that you're back on track. So whatever is happening on Christmas Day, I think is, you know, whether you celebrate it or not, I think there exists a lovely companionship energy that helps you get back on track. And then we've got Saturday and Sunday. So on Saturday, the 27th, the moon is going into the sign of Aries in your second house. And then your attentions are completely out of the Christmas energy. And it's very much into, okay, back to work, back to earning money, back to the everyday. Where are my resources coming from? How can I resource myself a bit better? How can I take action? And so it really feels like you're moving forwards. To me, this actually feels like New Year's Day energy rather than just a couple of days after Christmas, but it really does feel like things get going. And then as we're coming into the 28th, this is where the second aspect comes in. I'm just going to switch my slides. You'll see that the moon makes an exact conjunction with Chiron in your second house. Now, this is sensitive. Chiron has been in your second house for quite some time. And it really shows, I think, emotional deservability. Like, do you feel deserving of love? Do you feel like there's something wrong with you? Because, you know, I think with the moon and Chiron together, we can get quite tearful. We can, all of our patterns that we try and keep hidden normally come up, they bubble up to be seen. And so anything to do with not feeling deserving enough, or, you know, that like there's something wrong with you, it's likely to come up a little bit. However, and this is the big however, Mercury's in a lovely trine with it. It's really, and Mercury's coming from a very, very strong place. And it's there to show you that actually you do have value, and you can build your value, and you must feel your value. It's really there to show you that you are absolutely meant to be here. There's something very unique and special that you do that nobody else can do. It's there to encourage you. And I think this is a day of a gentle breakthrough. I also think it's a time for a healing conversation. Now, is this a professional healing conversation? It really could be. There could be a mentor around. There could be somebody that you really trust, that you're hearing them talk to you. But I think there's access to great wisdom that can really create a shift, and it can create some relief. So I think it's a very, very strong day. And it's clearing away some of the mistaken beliefs that you've held about your own self-concept and your own self-value. So if you think about it, you know, with Venus in a square to Neptune, you know, earlier on in the week, where you might feel like people only want you in one way or a couple of ways, or you feel like you're not seen. And it feels like there's this longing to be completely loved and accepted. And yet you just feel like part of you is and most of you isn't. And then to the end of the week, where you feel like there is a breakthrough, where you can finally see that there's an issue of your value, and you give up that sort of downsizing that you've been doing on yourself, and you allow yourself to feel like you really matter. And so that's what I really, you know, that's what I think is going on for you in this week ahead. So I hope that's helpful, because I really think it's a huge shift for you, and just in time for the new year. So I hope that's helpful to you, Pisces. And if my forecasts can be any more helpful, I do forecasts on a Monday to Friday basis in my free community on the platform called Skool. That's SKOOL.com. And you can join, just scan the QR code above my head right now, or go to www.skool.com/feelgoodastrology, and you can just join for free. And there's forecasts and other bits and pieces that are helpful. If you want to learn astrology and learn more about yourself in the process, in January, I'm going to be running a very short but concise who's who of astrology, kind of like introducing you to the absolute basics. And then if you want to take that deeper and further, I'm going to be teaching 3 different terms next year, starting in January, which you can get involved in. And there's also a summer school as well. So this could be a year where astrology changes your life. And if I can help in that, just get in touch via Skool. So anyway, have a beautiful festive period, however you spend it. And I'll catch up with you all soon. Lots of love. Bye for now.